One of the world's greatest mysteries, the lost city of Atlantis. This legendary city, submerged beneath the waves thousands of years ago, was not merely a lost place. According to accounts, it was also home to the most advanced technologies in human history. If these technologies were real, could you withstand such power for even a single day? Today, we will explore Atlantis' forgotten, lost technologies, and why these powers could pose a great danger to humanity. Are you ready? What is Atlantis? Who discovered it? The legend of Atlantis first appeared in writing around 360 BC, penned by the Greek philosopher Plato. Plato describes Atlantis in detail in his works Timaeus and Critias as an advanced civilization, a city rich in resources and equipped with advanced technology. However, one day it was submerged by a great catastrophe. Are Plato's accounts true? Or are they merely allegories? These questions have been debated for centuries. However, the claims of Atlantis' advanced technology have elevated the legend from mere myth to one of the greatest mysteries in the worlds of history and science. Crystal energy, the power source of Atlantis. Atlantis' most important technology was crystal energy. Even today, it is known that crystals can store certain types of energy, but it is claimed that Atlantis crystals revolutionized energy production. Today's solar panels and batteries are revolutionizing energy production, but Atlantis crystals could both store energy and transfer it wirelessly and instantly. Imagine modern wireless charging technology existed thousands of years ago. However, this energy was massive and extremely difficult to control. As a result, energy leaks and explosions occurred in various parts of the city, creating a danger similar to today's nuclear energy accidents. Flying ships and underwater tunnels. Atlantis transportation wonders. The people of Atlantis traveled in flying ships. Even today, when human aircraft technology is not yet completely safe, it is said that the people of Atlantis flew freely in the sky. In addition, the city was connected by underwater tunnels. Today's underwater tunnels and submarine research vehicles seem very primitive in comparison. However, all these advanced transportation systems consumed excessive amounts of energy and posed significant risks. Even the slightest malfunction could lead to fatal accidents. Invisible shields and destructive weapons. The dark side of defense. Atlantis' defense technology consisted of invisible energy shields and massive destructive weapons. Today, electromagnetic shields and laser weapons are still in the experimental stage, but the Atlantis legend was already using these technologies. These shields protected the city from enemy attacks, but sometimes energy overloads occurred, causing the shields to explode. The control of the destructive weapons, however, was a complete disaster. Large areas could be obliterated, and environmental pollution was created. The impact of technology on nature, the beginning of disasters. Atlantis technology not only made life easier, but also brought with it the idea of controlling nature. Systems powered by high-energy crystals were used in many areas, from controlling weather conditions to directing ocean currents. However, this power eventually pushed the limits. The natural balance was disregarded. The massive energy platforms built beneath the sea caused cracks in the ocean floor. The people of Atlantis noticed the small tremors emanating from these cracks, but they trusted their technology so much that they did not take it seriously. Nature began to respond slowly. The ocean level rose, the weather became unstable, and lightning strikes became more frequent and destructive. Sudden flashes and unstable vibrations occurred in the energy crystals. Even advanced machines could no longer control this disorder. Atlantis had disrupted the power balance it had created with its own technology, and now nature was determined to exact its toll for this disruption. Uncontrollable energy. Seeds of apocalypse. The giant energy crystal at the heart of Atlantis was the source of power for the entire city. For centuries, this crystal was revered as both a symbol and a source of life. However, as dependence on this energy grew over time, the crystal's limits began to be strained. Atlantis engineers developed artificial resonance systems to harness more of the crystal's power, increasing the flow of energy. These interventions worked in the short term, making the city brighter and more powerful, but at an invisible cost. The crystal was now operating erratically. The energy vibrations that normally rotated in a balanced manner began to fluctuate. From time to time, there were rumblings that shook the air around the crystal and flashes of light. At first, it was thought to be a malfunction, but it soon became clear that this was not a malfunction, but a harbinger of impending disaster. The people of Atlantis grew anxious for the first time. The air around the crystal was trembling, its energy cracking the surrounding stone structures, and even causing small explosions in some areas. The crystal was no longer under control. The balance between science and nature had been disrupted, and Atlantis had sown the seeds of its own apocalypse. A day in Atlantis. What is it like to live with technology? Before the disaster struck, a typical day in Atlantis was actually extraordinary. The city was built in harmony with the sea. Some roads ran over water channels, and some buildings were constructed entirely underwater. However, everything functioned in perfect order. In the morning, domes simulating the sky slowly lit up in Atlantis. Time flowed according to technology, not nature. Homes drew power directly from energy crystals. Basic needs like temperature, light, and even drinking water were automatically provided. The people moved silently between elevator towers, dressed in elegant garments made of stone and metal. Education centers featured holographic information panels, and children were educated directly through mental learning devices. In markets, energy-powered vehicles kept products fresh from beneath the sea, and food was cleaned at specific frequencies. Health centers utilized body scanners and frequency-based treatment systems. Everything was quiet, efficient, and nearly flawless. But this perfection also relied on an artificial balance. Technology was so deeply embedded in everything that the people had begun to overlook its fragility. In Atlantis, one day was a dazzling dream, but the most beautiful dreams are the ones that cause the most pain upon waking. Modern theories and conspiracy claims. Despite the passage of centuries, the mystery of Atlantis remains unsolved. Seen as much more than just a lost city, Atlantis continues to be the subject of numerous theories and debates today. While some scientists argue that it is entirely a myth, others believe that traces of a real civilization still exist in the depths of the ocean. In particular, the symmetrical structures, stone blocks, and images resembling ancient roads found on the ocean floor are among the elements that strengthen these claims. However, the matter involves not only science, but also plenty of conspiracy theories. According to some theories, the people of Atlantis were an advanced civilization with an extraterrestrial origin. They claim that Atlantis technology was so advanced that this knowledge is now being kept secret and controlled by certain elite groups. It is even claimed that this ancient knowledge forms the basis of some of today's technology. Another theory suggests that Atlantis was actually destroyed by a nuclear disaster, and this event was deliberately buried in the dark pages of history. Some also argue that Atlantis did not sink, but instead moved to a different dimension, meaning the city did not disappear, but simply became inaccessible. Whatever the truth may be, Atlantis remains a mysterious part of both the past and the present. Every new discovery reignites both scientific research and conspiracy theories. And perhaps the greatest mystery remains. If Atlantis truly existed, could there be other lost civilizations like it? The search for Atlantis, an adventure through history. Throughout history, many adventurers, scientists, and explorers have sought to trace the footsteps of Atlantis. First mentioned in the works of the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, this legendary city has wandered the boundaries of both reality and imagination for centuries. In the Middle Ages, sailors and explorers crossed the oceans in search of Atlantis, while in modern times, detailed research has been conducted on the seabed thanks to technology. In the 20th century, ancient ruins found in the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, and even the Caribbean were considered possible sites of Atlantis. While some scientists have attempted to link these ruins to Atlantis, others have argued that they are natural formations. Discoveries made using scuba divers, sonar imagery, and satellite technology have made this search even more exciting. However, the true location of Atlantis remains unknown. Some seek it in the ice-covered Antarctic, while others search for it on the island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea. This quest is not merely a pursuit of a lost city. It is a magical journey into the depths of human history. Every excavation, every research effort, adds to the mystery of Atlantis and captivates those who pursue it. Searching for Atlantis is like building a bridge between the past and the future. Humanity's curiosity, desire for discovery, and fascination with the unknown never cease. Perhaps one day this legend will become reality, or perhaps it will remain a secret forever, but this adventure will certainly never be forgotten. The potential harm of technology to humanity and scary scenarios. Technology has been the greatest driving force in human history. However, like any great power, its uncontrolled use is brought with it risks and dangers. The example of Atlantis shows us how advanced technology in the wrong hands can lead to disaster. The city possessed immense power through its advanced energy systems and devices that interfered with nature. But this power sowed the seeds of its own destruction as it sought to surpass nature's limits. Today, technology is advancing rapidly. Revolutions are taking place in fields such as artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and energy sources. However, what happened to Atlantis may serve as a warning that modern humanity could face similar scenarios. Uncontrolled energy use can disrupt the balance of ecosystems. Artificial intelligence and automation, if mismanaged, can lead to social disasters. Additionally, risks such as information pollution, unethical experiments, and humanity's alienation from nature, which accompany technological advancement, should not be overlooked. Among the frightening scenarios, it is thought that a civilization like Atlantis could collapse due to the power it created, and that this destruction could even trigger chain reactions around the world. While technology improves the quality of life on the one hand, it can also become a weapon that threatens humanity's existence on the other. The story of Atlantis is not only a warning from the past, it could also be a mirror for the future. Atlantis is not just a lost city, but also a mirror that shows us the dark and bright sides of technology. Humanity's imagination and desire for discovery have always driven us forward. But we must not forget that unchecked power can also lead to great destruction. As we strive to unlock the secrets of Atlantis today, we must also draw lessons for our future. Advancing technology can both elevate us and bring us down. What matters is how we use this power. Perhaps Atlantis is not just a disaster from the past, but a warning for the future. What do you think is the true meaning of this legend? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss. If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our new videos. See you in the next video. Take care.